Man, Florida summers are always relentlessly hot, and it is a beautiful day here in Florida. And today we are in downtown St. Pete, and our video today is gonna be a little bit different. No new construction tours, but today I am gonna tell you, if I were moving to Tampa Bay in 2026, exactly where I would want to live. Wagwan, my peoples. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back to the Living in Tampa Bay channel. I am your host, Shandon Kaya, and your trusted real estate advisor for the Tampa Bay area. There's a common misconception that when people hear I'm moving to Tampa, they just think the city of Tampa. But you quickly realize when you get here that Tampa Bay is a massive region comprised of Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Bradenton, as far down as Sarasota, and we have further regions that are further out in the suburbs, like Newport Richey to the northwest, right on the coast, and then you have suburbs that are further inland, like Wesley Chapel and Zephyr Hills, where there's a ton of new construction development, and those aren't the only few places that are doing so. So if you've been considering a move here, there's some things that you need to know and need to prioritize when it comes to finding the area that's going to be right for you. And in this video, I'm going to break all of those down for you. So when it comes to Tampa Bay, you should know that there is a neighborhood and lifestyle that fits everybody. And you got to break it down into pretty much 4 major buckets, if you would. And those are going to be the lifestyle you choose and what you prioritize, what's important to you, because that's ultimately going to affect your quality of life and how happy you're going to be living here. So the first of those 4 buckets for me is going to be urban. So this is going to be your downtown lifestyles, downtown St. Pete, downtown Tampa, downtown Clearwater, where you have this walkability, you have condos, you have single family homes. And within St. Petersburg specifically, there are certain neighborhoods that fit into this urban lifestyle, but depending on your budget and price range, you're gonna have to move around quite a bit to find that neighborhood that's gonna be fit for you. If your budget is sub $350, then you can get that urban lifestyle, but you're gonna be kind of forced to purchase something on the south side of St. Pete. And the south side kind of has this bad rap because it's considered high crime, but if you spend time down there and get to know the people are lovely. Not to get political, but I just think people feel some type of way when there's people around that don't look like them, and that raises red flags. And it's unfortunate it's that way, but the real estate values do reflect that. But there are some really, really beautiful developing and emerging neighborhoods on the south side that definitely fit into that budget that's under $350,000. Now, if you're in between like that $350 to $550 range, then you can pretty much pick any neighborhood on the north side of St. Pete. And these are going to be areas like Distant Heights, North Kenwood, Leoman, Pinellas Park, even if you want to go a little further out. Now that is leaving the more urban area and becoming a little more suburban, but still within that price range, you can find single family homes that will likely fit all of your criteria in terms of space, bedroom sizes, and things of that nature. And then lastly, if you really love that urban lifestyle and want to be close to downtown, then areas like Old Northeast are going to be pretty much perfect for you, but the price point goes way up to like $650 plus, really like $750 plus. I'm pretty sure the average priced home in Old Northeast is like $1 million. So just something to take note of if you're shopping for that urban lifestyle. Now the second bucket is going to be suburban. So across Tampa Bay, we have a ton of suburbs, which is contrary to popular belief because people think Tampa Bay is actually very, very metro, and it is a growing metro area, but outside of Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater, we do have suburbs. Like I said, Pinellas Park is a suburb of St. Petersburg. We have Largo, which is a suburb of Clearwater. Then when it comes to the Tampa side, Hillsborough County is absolutely massive. And then as you move further north into Pasco, you start to get into those areas I mentioned earlier, like Wesley Chapel, Zephyr Hills, Brandon, Riverview, Gibsonton, Apollo Beach, all of these beautiful places where new construction development has been happening over the course of the last 10 years and have become a little more family-oriented suburban areas. So that is actually going to lead me into my third bucket, and that is going to be family-oriented. So by that, you can really find this in most of the suburban areas, but we know that Florida is not very well known for their schools and education. So there are very limited areas where the schools are going to be A-rated. Now, with that being said, if that's something that's a priority for you, I will say that the standout areas are going to be, for Hillsborough and Pasco County, are going to be areas in South Tampa. Wesley Chapel is phenomenal for schools. They have some of the best rated school districts in the area. And then if you move over to Pinellas County on this side of the bridge, you're looking at areas like Seminole, and then in that old Northeast area, Shorecrest Prep is a K through 12 school, and their campus is absolutely phenomenal. Also one of the few A-rated schools in Pinellas County. Now, the last bucket that I'll bring up is going to be water. Now, as you know, because we are a Bay Area, we're surrounded by water. We have over 800 miles of water frontage across the Tampa Bay area. And a lot of these neighborhoods, even if they're not true waterfront, like on the ocean, you can find a really moderately priced home on a canal in areas like Newport Richey and some of the inner links of Tampa on the Hillsborough River, where you're not going to have to spend $1 million to still be on a home that's considered waterfront. Now, water lifestyle means something different to everybody. For some people, that is boating and fishing. For some people, that is the beach. For some people, that is the views. And depending on where those things lie on your priority list, then the neighborhood you choose may be different between person to person. If you're someone who prioritizes the beach, then you're definitely going to want to look in a place like Pasadena or Largo or Clearwater, where you're going to be no more than 10 miles from the nearest beach. Now, if beach isn't as important to you and you just want the views, then you can settle with downtown St. Pete or downtown Tampa. There are some phenomenal condo developments and communities where you can get a 8 to 20-story unit and get those water views that surround Bayshore or surround downtown Tampa with views of the bay. And you can even get the best of both worlds if you settle for a condo on the beach, like some of the ones in St. Pete Beach or Clearwater Beach. Now, of course, with those views and with that lifestyle comes a higher price tag, but there, like I said, there is a neighborhood and community that fits just about everyone's budget. That's one of the beautiful things about Tampa Bay. I'm going to add in a fifth bucket because this is for my, not necessarily investors, but people who are prudent enough and look farther enough into the future to say, you know what, even if I don't end up living here long term, this is a future investment. And for that reason, I'm going to toss in a couple hidden gems. Those are going to be areas like South St. Petersburg, just because the margins for equitable growth are much larger than anywhere else in St. Pete, because we know how expensive St. Pete is. And I would also point you to areas like East and North Tampa, even as far north as Temple Terrace, because of its proximity in between both downtown Tampa and the USF, University of South Florida campus. There is always going to be rental demand there, and again, compared to the rest of the city, the property values are significantly lower and the barrier to entry is lower, making your margins for growth much larger over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. That leaves us with the question that everyone came to this video to see. Where would I choose to live if I were moving to Tampa Bay in 2026? Me personally, I think I should preface this by saying it's very important to know what stage of life you're in and how that's going to be affecting your real estate purchase. And where I'm at in my life, I'm in a growth stage. I'm growing my business. I have a committed relationship that I'm constantly working on, and for that reason, I want to make the best purchase that's going to benefit my short-term future, which is the next 3 to 5 years. So with that being said, if I had to pick, I would probably choose an area in the south side of St. Pete. There are a couple neighborhoods I have had my eye on for a while. I really love Bartlett Park because of its proximity to downtown, to Tropicana Stadium, to the beach. It's kind of centrally located, and there's a big part of it that's still not in a flood zone, even though it's really close to the water. So that is a major plus. And for me, I'm looking for that investment property that I can put some money into, renovate it, build some equity, and then rent out in the near future, so I can roll the equity into my next property and rinse and repeat. So if you ask me where I'd want to be in like 5 to 6 years, I'd probably be starting to raise a family, and as that family starts to grow, I would certainly push out to the suburbs, and my number one choice would probably be Parrish. Parrish is the new construction capital of Tampa Bay right now. Every builder who's prominent and reputable in the Tampa Bay area has at least one community there, and some of the homes that we've seen on the channel are absolutely stunning, and your money stretches so much farther down there. And one thing I love about Parrish is it's over the Skyway Bridge, but because of that, the traffic, it's less congested, and you really just have to make the trip over the bridge to make it into St. Petersburg. And then you're not too far from both Bradenton and Sarasota either. So you kind of get the best mix of everything without having to break the bank. You can still get, brand new construction home, 3-bed, 2-bath, 4-bed, 3-bath for anywhere between $300,000 to $500,000. I know I gave you guys a couple different answers, but again, emphasizing on where you're at in your life and how that's going to affect your real estate purchase. So if you're someone who has been thinking about moving here, not really sure where you want to be, that's kind of what I specialize in: relocations, new construction. And during our discovery call, we can go over your goals, and I can kind of help you find that avenue of exactly where you need to be, so you can start setting up actionable steps to get you relocated to Florida. So with that, I'll remind you guys that I am a licensed agent in the state of Florida. So if you have real estate goals, questions, or dreams of moving here, especially the Tampa Bay area, I'd be honored to earn your business and help you make your transition here as smooth as possible. So I'm going to drop my contact information on screen so you guys can get in touch, and never hesitate to reach out, as I'm always here to be a resource for you. Phone call, text, email, you can reach me any one of 3 ways, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. I know this content was a little bit different from the new construction tours that we're used to, so if you enjoyed this and want to see more like it, please be sure to go down, like, comment, and hit that subscribe button, because it genuinely helps me continue to create more content like this for you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.